Republicans repeatedly mentioned and sometimes asked questions about Uranium One. The Attorney General Jeff Sessions says he needs a factual basis to appoint a special counsel to investigate Hillary Clinton. One has not yet been appointed, though Attorney General Sessions says he has asked federal prosecutors to evaluate issues presented by House Republicans, including Uranium One. Here's the exchange between Jeff Sessions and the Republican Congressman Jim Jordan of Ohio.
What's it going to take to actually get a special counsel?
We will use the proper standards, and that's what only thing I can tell you, Mr. Jordan.
Well, I appreciate
you can
that.
have your idea, but sometime we have to study what the facts are and to evaluate whether it meets the standard.
Well said. So let me ask you this. If in fact,
a special counsel.
So what are the facts? What is Uranium One? Uranium One is the name of a South Africa-based mining company. Back in 2007, it merged with Eurasia Energy, based in Canada. And in 2010, the mining arm of the Russian nuclear agency, Rosatom, bought controlling interest in the company. Among other places, that mining company had operations in Wyoming that amounted to what the Nuclear Regulatory Commission, or the NRC, said was at the time about 20% of uranium production capacity in the U.S. Today, the NRC says it's about 10%. Now, here's the accusation. 9 people involved in the deal made donations to the Clinton Foundation totaling more than $140 million. In exchange, Secretary of State Clinton approved the sale to the Russians, a quid pro quo. The accusation first made by Peter Schweitzer, the senior editor-at-large of the website Breitbart, in his 2015 book, Clinton Cash. The next year, candidate Donald Trump cited the accusation as an example of Clinton corruption.
Hillary Clinton's State Department approved the transfer of 20% of America's uranium holdings to Russia, while 9 investors in the deal funneled $145 million to the Clinton Foundation.
That statement is inaccurate in a number of ways. First, the Clinton State Department had no power to veto or approve that transaction. It could do neither. Here's how it does work. By law, when a foreign company wants to buy anything with potential national security implications, an interagency committee of the federal government must approve it. The committee was given a broad mandate under President Reagan to advise the president on foreign investment transactions. That committee is called CIFIS, or the Committee on Foreign Investment in the United States. It includes 9 department heads. The Secretary of the Treasury is the chairperson. The rest are the heads of the Departments of Justice, Homeland Security, Commerce, Defense, State, and Energy, plus the Office of the U.S. Trade Representative and the Office of Science and Technology Policy. That's CIFIS. The 9 department heads all approved the sale of Uranium One. It was unanimous, not a Hillary Clinton approval. We don't know definitively whether Secretary Clinton participated at all directly. The then Secretary of State, I should say Assistant Secretary of State Jose Fernando, represented state on CIFIS. He says she did not, reporting that the Secretary never intervened. Further, neither Secretary Clinton nor the committee as a whole could stop any deal of this kind. The committee members evaluate a sale of anything potentially related to national security. By law, if one member objects, the president, and only the president, can veto such a transaction. No committee member of the 9 objected. Federal approvals were also needed. The Nuclear Regulatory Commission approved the sale on November the 24th of 2010, and in doing so stipulated that no uranium produced may be exported. So where does the uranium go? Well, the Energy Information Administration, or EIA, reports that unless special permission is granted by the Department of Energy or other governmental agencies, Uranium One sells the uranium that it mines in the United States to civilian power reactors in the United States. But operators of those reactors have many other sources for their uranium. Last year, 89% of uranium used by power plants in the U.S. came from foreign producers, according to the EIA. Regarding the donations to the Clinton Foundation, again, the accusation is that Hillary Clinton's State Department approved the transfer of 20% of Americans' uranium holdings to Russia, while 9 investors in the deal funneled $145 million to the Clinton Foundation. Here, the timing is inaccurate. Most of those donations were from one man, Frank Guestra, the founder of the company in Canada. He gave $131 million to the Clinton Foundation. But Guestra says he sold his stake in the company back in 2007. That's 3 years before the Uranium-Russia deal and a year and a half before Hillary Clinton became Secretary of State. We can't independently verify his statement, but if true, the donation to the Clinton Foundation from confirmed Uranium One investors drops from more than $145 million to $4 million. The Clinton Foundation did not disclose those donations. After a New York Times story exposed them, the foundation reported it made mistakes, saying it had disclosed donations from a Canadian charity, but did not specify the names of the donors to that charity who had associations with the uranium company. Even so, the accusation is predicated on the charge that Secretary Clinton approved the sale. She did not. A committee of 9 evaluated the sale. The president approved the sale. The Nuclear Regulatory Commission and others had to offer permits, and none of the uranium was exported for use by the U.S. to Russia. That is Uranium One.